We're here with another breakdown today. This one just in time for Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic this weekend. So I'm doing this now just so I can jump on before they fight. So this is from the UFC countdown. As you can see, Jon Jones versus Miocic. We have Stan Efferding, who is a very popular and famous, I'm not going to say influencer, coach. If you're familiar with that space, he is very, popular and famous for the vertical diet. You can look that up yourself if you want. But everything is very West Side influenced in this. And, they come from a West Side background here. Jon Jones does a lot of powerlifting style training. So we're going to comment on what's going on here and see what we got. So most of the weight on the hips and very little in the hands. You say I'm reading the captions here, so we won't have the sound on here. So essentially he's doing like a deadlift with a belt squat attachment around his waist. Now, typically you'd be like, okay, why the hell is he doing this? But have you seen his injury history? His recent injury was that massive pec tear that he had. And I'm assuming then because of that pec tear and that rehab coming back, holding really heavy loads in the deadlift probably aggravates it, or potentially can cause problems. So to be able to load his deadlift pattern instead of having a lot of weight in the bar, they've done it around the hips. It's actually really smart. It's a really smart way of doing it for someone with an upper body injury, to be able to still strengthen the hips and the legs without having that upper body limitation. So I actually quite like this variation. And then we've got chest supported T-bar rows. So it looks like that deadlift was the main movement. And then he's going to some more accessory style pulling movements. And then a one-arm dumbbell row on top of that. So I wonder, it's interesting because Stan talks about not putting unnecessary mass on the athlete that would include muscle. But then I don't know how much volume they're doing, but the fact that you're doing deadlifts plus chest supported rows plus dumbbell rows already seems like it could be quite a bit of volume already. And then farmers walks as well to finish, which I do really like. But I wonder what the rest of the training week actually looks like in this, because this is a very powerlifting West Side setup, right? Because you've got your main movement, which would be, in this case, that deadlift. And then you've got all your accessories afterwards. But all the accessories are geared around, I guess you could say, building the deadlift. So a lot of powerlifting programs, that's how they run, right? Because you're competing in the squat, bench, and deadlift. It means all your accessories are there to build the muscles and the weak points to be able to lift more weight in those lifts. And that's exactly what kind of the session looks like. So it'll be interesting to know kind of what his other days look like. Is he then doing a squat day? Because I'm sure you've seen the videos of a safety bar squat as well. And then is he just doing a lot of lower body accessories, like single leg squats after that as well? And then for the bench days, he's doing bench, and then doing a bunch of other bench accessories and kind of keeping more powerlifting-esque in that way. I don't know. So I don't know what the rest of the week looks like. But it's very interesting that you see a lot of his training. You don't see a lot of quote-unquote athletic style movement, if that makes sense. It's very powerlifting orientated. Now, is that going to negatively affect Jon Jones in the fight and mean that it's going to impact his performance? Probably not. He is the best in the world for a reason, not because of what he does here, but because of his skill set. So as long as he's able to execute in the fight and not, essentially not gas out and manage his energy and all that stuff, he'll be fine regardless of what he does in training here. But a lot of this work is probably just regaining a lot of the strength that he lost during his surgery and rehab process. So it actually probably fits quite well doing some of the style of training based on where he is within his, development because of that surgery. It might be a lot different if he didn't have to have that surgery and he was in, I guess you could say, peak shape already where they could do a lot more. So I'm assuming that that's why this is kind of working well for him currently. But hopefully that gives you an insight into maybe what's going on here with his training. It'll be interesting to see how it goes on Saturday. Again, win, lose, draw, whatever, this has pretty much nothing to do with what's going to happen there. But it's always interesting just to break down and see what you can learn from it. If you enjoyed this, make sure you watch some of my other breakdowns. I've got so many more, and I'll see you in the next video.